Good morning, listeners. Your host today is the usual host, Sidiro Korobam. And today we have Robert, who's a Zimbabwean national. Robert, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Sam?
I wanted to try and pronounce your surname, but I realized it was going to be difficult. Can you tell the listener who is Robert and his background, where he comes from?
Okay. My name is Robert Zedi. It's spelled Zedi. Zedi in Shona is the truth.
Oh, the truth.
Yeah,
Uh,
when you say Zedi, you're saying it's true.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
No, it's a pleasure having you, Robert.
thank you so much.
We are here for you to give us a bit of background on the Zimbabwean history. But
Oh,
before we get to the history, I'd ask you to tell us who you are, how old are you, where do you come from, which part of Zimbabwe do you come from?
okay. Um, my history is like I'm now in my 60s.
Yes.
I was born in Rhodesia.
Hmm.
Now, I first came to Botswana in 19, was it 2007
Okay.
with my wife. And for the record, we no longer together.
All right.
She's she's the one who brought me here. She was she was a magistrate.
Uh-huh.
She worked at the village court.
Yes.
She's most famous for the Norman Patakwe case, I think. She's Olivia's lady.
Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
case, yeah.
So, what happened is in 2007, there was an economic implosion in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
And by dint of fate, she got a job here.
Mm-hmm.
And we all followed her.
I see.
Me and the family, that is.
Yes.
And then that was my first time to be here and to stay here like.
Uh,
Then
I hear you talking about the 2007 economic implosion.
yeah,
I thought the economic crisis for Zimbabwe had come earlier than 2007.
I can't hear you.
Yes, I was saying, if my memory serves me well, I thought the economic crisis in Zimbabwe came before 2007.
Yes, but that was the peak.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see, yeah, the economic crisis really did not start in 2007, but we were costing along. Those that had money could still survive.
Yes.
The economic crisis in Zim starts way back.
Yes.
But then you see, Zimbabwe. What happened with Zimbabwe really was that we were riding on what is known as, or in economic terms, it's known as inertia.
Hmm.
We were riding on the resistance or the economy that was built by the former colonizers, and
Uh-huh.
everything that was happening, that economy was kind of sustaining it.
Uh-huh.
And then what eventually broke it was when they went full throttle in land redistribution, and
I
then
see.
the economy crumbled.
I, I
So
I guess it ultimately crumbled then. That was then 2007, isn't it?
yeah,
I guess it eventually crumbled in 2007 because that's when the sanctions began crippling in.
yeah, that's when the sanctions came in. But look, it wasn't sanctions per se.
Yeah.
You see, when you run an economy like a tuck shop, you see, economics is not is not a science. You cannot replicate it like you do in a lab, but
Yeah.
it has certain rules that it does. That
Mm.
if they are broken, eventually the economy collapses. So
Yeah.
right from 1980, the people that took power there were not following the basic tenets of economics.
Mhm.
But as I said before, maybe what was happening was that the institutions that were built by Smith were so resilient.
Mhm.
But the basic thing that really happened with the Zimbabwean economy is that in economics there's this thing that you call what do you call this thing? Opportunity cost.
Yes. Yes.
Opportunity cost simply means that for anything that you do, resources are not in are not infinite. So for anything that you do, you are foregoing another option. So they came in, they were hungry, and they couldn't wait for the cake to grow. And
Mm.
they were taking from the little cake that Smith had done, and they were apportioning it within themselves and leaving the crumbs to the people. So eventually, when they took the land, those that were supporting the economy backed off, and when they did, the economy crumbled. And then we lost the currency. We had money that we called bearer checks, where you were going to be buying um, uh, a bottle of cooking oil for 2 or 3 billion. So yeah, the economy crumbled, but it took quite some time. The signs were there, but then you see, in a country where people's voices are muzzled,
Yeah.
when people try and point out that things are not right, and we had this Mugabe guy who a renowned educated guy.
Yeah.
At one stage, he was telling the
Robert,
yes,
there is, in my opinion, there is a difference between educated and qualified.
no, yes, yeah.
Was Mugabe educated or was he qualified?
He was educated. He was educated.
He wasn't qualified. I thought
No,
I mean, from what he has done, I would call him just somebody who was qualified rather than educated.
because you see, I by qualification, you see, by my understanding of qualification is that you get given you graduate from school, and when
You get certified for
you
yeah.
yes you get certified,
Yeah.
and then maybe you go and work, and you start practicing what you have been
Taught.
taught at college.
And
And then,
and that's where the education really comes into practice.
okay, yeah. So this guy was qualified, but he wasn't educated.
He wasn't educated. Thank you. I want
He,
us to
he,
agree on that one.
yes, no,
Yeah.
he wasn't educated because, yeah, as you rightly put it, he didn't practice what he was taught at school. Look,
Or supposedly taught.
or supposedly taught.
Yeah.
Yes. So, that became the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe getting back to our story, I we now came here,
Yeah.
and you see, the funny thing is that when we came here, As soon as we entered into Francistown, we saw a change. Somebody had given us was it around 400 puller because we didn't have money.
Yeah.
When we got to Francistown, we could buy Magwinya for 25
Mm.
25 TV, I think, and there was Coke. In Zim, we didn't have Coke,
There was no coke in
and
Zim at that time.
there was no Coke in Zim at that time, not even sugar or salt.
Jesus.
And then we managed to drive right up to Lubatse. When we got to Lubatse, we slept at a hotel there, and then Mr. Ntomiwa was the kind of boss there in Lubatse, and then they did our papers, and then she was sent to the village court.
Okay.
And so that's how I actually came to
So it's on.
Botswana.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, she got sick.
Yeah.
She got really sick, and she was diagnosed as clinical what clinical psychotic depression.
Hmm.
She couldn't work, and she went back home.
Oh, I see.
So when she went back home, I started my company here. I stayed with the kids here. They did their education here. Probably the biggest mistake that I made was sometime in 2013 when there was this GNU in Zim. I decided to go back home.
Mm.
I was getting homesick, and my wife was alone, so I thought let's just go back home. We left a lock, stock, barrel, and I went back home.
Mm.
And then when I went back home, um, things were getting worse, especially after they rigged the elections again, and this guy lost. They went back into the
Which
same
guy is that? That's Morgan Tsvangirai.
Morgan Sangrai,
Yeah.
and then the whole thing started again.
Mm.
So it was at that point that I started thinking, but what's going on here? What could I do to try and save the situation? I told my wife, I said, look, I want to go back to Botswana, retrace my steps, because what is happening here is that I've got a lot of anger bottled in me. Nothing is working. I work in the financial services sector, and I'm a trained marketer. Nothing is really happening here. Why don't you allow me to go back home? I mean, to go back to Botswana. And in her own words, she said, look, this is our fate. I don't want you to go back to Botswana. You have got 3 meals here. Don't go. And I disagreed. I said, look, I think I'll go back and try to see what happened to my business, try and resuscitate it. It's going to be difficult. She pointed out that, look, um, I'm the one who actually set you up. Indeed, she did, because when I came here, we had a house. I had 3 meals a day. I didn't know. I don't know how the permit was done. It was done in within 2 or 3 minutes. It was done, and we were set. But then I said, look, I will have to go back, see what I could do. Then by that time, I'd already started writing a book.
Mm.
I and what was happening is that when I was writing the book, there are these pseudo Facebook pages
Yeah.
that I was posting the readability of the book on these pages, and some of them are run by the
Mm.
Central Intelligence. organization, which is the equivalent of DIS here.
Yeah.
And they were now starting to threaten me.
Hmm.
They went to my Yahoo email and they were threatening me. And then I thought, look, let me just go. My wife refused, and then we had a disagreement. And on that note, my marriage crumbled.
Yeah.
Um, but you see, in life again, there are opportunity costs. Our country is bleeding.
Yeah.
And I thought, you see, the biggest problem that we have in Zimbabwe is that we are failing to demystify this liberation struggle.
Yeah.
And for as long as we cannot demystify it, these guys will continue wreaking havoc with our lives. And the most unfortunate thing is that it can only be demystified by people who participated in it.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm one of them, although I participated on the other side. But my book clearly states, for those that want to read it, it clearly states why I ended up joining the Rhodesian Army. What I saw uh, at the onset of the war. You see, I grew up in a very poor family.
Yeah.
My father was a tobacco farmer, yeah, he was a tobacco specialist. He moved from one farm to another, and we ended up in Centenary where the war was just starting.
Mm.
So I worked after doing my grade seven. I worked there in the farm, and really the work was grueling. And we had a very mean boss.
Mm.
I won't forget him.
Yeah.
And during those days,
Was the boss a white man?
yeah, he was a white man. He was the farm manager, a
Yeah.
very mean guy. Bus Derek. I call him Bus Derek. That's what we called
Call
him.
them. Yeah.
He was of African extraction, but when you look at it, maybe his meanness was about the farm work getting done. You see,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Actually, because both my father and my mother are of South African origin,
okay,
so I have a very good insight on the work culture or work ethic of
yes,
the Afrikaner, and
yes,
a lot of people who went through supervision of Afrikaners will tell you that yes, in the beginning you'll think it's abuse, but or when you cross on the other side of the river, you realize that it was a good lesson because
yes.
most people who went through the Afrikaner kind of training or supervision ended up being good in their different aspects of different fields of life.
It is true. That's fact, really. You can't run away from it, but it was painful.
Yes.
It was painful. I think I was 11 or 12 years, and we used to wake up at 4:30, get into a tractor, and then this thing of harvesting Virginia tobacco is not easy.
Mm,
And those were the days when this war was gaining pace.
mm,
And I thought, hey, maybe joining the liberation struggle is the best thing. I really nearly joined it. But as what fate would have it, I had somebody in the farm. I think he had noticed me somehow. I don't know how. And then he came to me and said, "Look, there's an army camp there in Centenary. It was actually a walking distance from the farm that we were staying. I've got a new job. And I said, what? And they said, yeah, there's a job there. Let's go and work. So I abruptly left the farm and went to this army camp. They just set base there, and
That was the Rhodesian army base.
yeah, that was the Rhodesian army base. They were now, because Centenary is very close to Mozambique.
Mhm.
It's if you're good at cycling, you can actually cycle to Mozambique and come back and come back.
Okay.
And now the Zanla forces now in tandem with the Frelimo were now coming into Mozambique, and then they were now using the Centenary areas as their main infiltration areas. So they were
Zanla was led by whom then?
Zanla initially in 1972. It was under Stolle because Mugabe went to
Oh, Ndabaningi Stole.
yes.
Yes.
Mugabe was still in prison. Mugabe eventually went to Mozambique, I think 75, 76.
Mm,
That's when he was released. There were talks between Zorewa and these other people, and then this guy, Mugabe, was released, and then he went to Mozambique. And when he got to Mozambique, like they always do, like what you are seeing now, they topple each other.
mm,
Mugabe instigated the downfall of Sitole,
mm,
and he was now at the helm.
mm,
It's sad. I don't know if this outfit could have been a little bit different under Stolle. I'm not too sure. But they ended up with Mugabe at the helm. At the helm, he went in 1976. So yeah, they were coming in, and then the Rhodesian army decided to have a base in Centenary, and that's how I went there. And then I got a job. I was doing coffee. I mean, making tea for the army officers. That
mm.
was, and then I was a tea boy,
How old
and
were you then?
I think I was 12 years, I think.
Mm.
But the pay was good. It was actually better. And you see, the funny, the funny thing is, you get there, and then you find these uh, you see, let's face it, the Rhodesian army was racist.
Yeah,
The command element was always white,
yeah.
and soldiers were the black soldiers were you couldn't rise above the rank of regimental sergeant major. We call them RSM,
Mm,
regimental sergeant major. But then there are two classes. There is warrant officer class 1 and warrant officer class 2.
mm,
Warrant officer class 1 is the highest rank that you could get, and it was only one in a battalion,
mhm,
but you could have as many warrant officers as possible.
mm,
So I was working in the scullery, uh, washing pots and pans and helping out in the kitchen. And really, when I started working for them, I realized that they were not um, monstrous as I thought, because
mm.
I thought they were horrible people. But I had to go there because I needed to
Survive.
run away from the drudgery of farm work. It was really hard.
Yeah.
As you're saying, Afrikaners are slave masters. You know what this guy did, Bas Derek did, is that he would wake up at 4:30 with everybody. He gets you into a tractor. He follows the tractor on his motorcycle, and he is there at 10 o'clock. He goes back to his house, have some tea, and he comes back. So for a very small boy, honestly, it was too much.
Yeah.
And I had always been reading. I used to carry with me a copy of what do you call this? Student's Companion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and each time I had time, I would just get a word or two and then throw it back on me because we would get 30 minutes lunch hour,
Mm.
and there was nothing for lunch. It was just water and you resting. So I would just take out the
No food.
student. There was no food,
So
no food at
so
all.
you'd actually spend the whole day without eating anything.
Yes.
And where did you get the energy? Where did the people get the energy?
I don't know honestly when I look back, but when I look at it, it was ample training for me.
Mm.
You see, if I hadn't gone through that, maybe I wouldn't have been able to go through the army training.
Mm.
And maybe I wouldn't have been able to go through what I'm going through right now, because there was a time when life was okay for me.
Yeah.
I had two cars in the garage back home, living in the suburbs, living the classic middle class life that you could aspire
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when people were, I had friends that I used to work with at the old mutuals. Some of them were coming here. I had some white friends. Some of them were going to New Zealand and these other places. And I used to look at them and say, but why leave this country?
Yeah.
Then, as I'm saying, cracks were there, but we thought we could ride it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I digress a little bit. But if I hadn't had that grounding, the grounding that I got at that farm,
Mm.
honestly, because when I joined the Rhodesian Army, I was young. I was about 13 or 14.
Mm.
And what I did was I went and got a birth certificate. I faked my date of birth because I had to be 19 or 18 or 19.
Yeah.
So for survival, I gave them
Mm.
a little bit a date of birth in 1975 when I got my birth certificate. I needed to be 19 in order to join the Rhodesian Army, so I
Mm.
put my date of birth as 1956. I had gone there with a very close family relative
Yeah.
because my father was a deadbeat father. It's one of those things, but you
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
grow. You also grow through those kinds of hardships.
Yeah.
So I got my birth certificate. What made me make a decision, an irrevocable decision to join the Rhodesian Army is the atrocities that I saw being meted on innocent civilians by our freedom fighters. And
Your freedom fighters?
yeah, I mean the Zanla guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen such kind of atrocities, people being hacked down, um, lips being cut, ears being cut off.
Why? Why were they doing that?
You see, in the in Rhodesia, the war was vicious. And then what happened was there are some people who were kind of politically literate or at that time, and they were some kind of moderates who knew the excesses of revolutions. So what used to happen is, if, for example, I know you are doing well, uh, and in life,
Uh,
then you'll be reported as a sellout. You see,
that you are eating with the white man.
yes, if you're doing well, if you're relatively well, and you have got a plowing field and you are harvesting, then they would say, look, look at Kuruba, look at what he's doing. He's eating with the white man. And then they come.
Yeah.
And then they would make some kind of a lesson out of you. What they would do is they would take you, and then they used to have these kinds of night vigils
Mm.
where for the whole night you'll be chanting and they will be politicizing you and giving you this kind of utopian rhetoric where they say when we take over, you can have anything that you want. And through the song and dance, they would now say, Kuruva here is a very bad guy. He's the one who is giving information to the whites.
Mm.
And they would,
Can you take a pause there so that we take a break for the
okay,
adverts? I'll come
okay,
back to you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Yes, Robert.
Yeah,
You were talking about whether it was vilification. I don't know what to call it, but
yes.
I don't know how familiar you are with the ANC camps, but what you are talking about, I know a lot of ANC, soldiers or in the ANC camps. A lot of people were killed for being suspected to be working with the Boers. I
Yes.
didn't know it was the same with Zanla and other liberation forces in Zimbabwe.
It was in Zim, it was in Rhodesia, it was worse. Look, you see, the difference between the ANC and the Zimbabwean thing is that we were in the security thing. We really knew that. You see, ANC was trained in, some of them were in Tanzania, some of them were in Zambia.
Yeah.
And the main infiltration route into South Africa was either through Botswana or through Rhodesia then.
Mm.
So the ANC guys would join the Zipra faction, which is the Nkomo one,
Yeah.
and most of them never made it into South Africa. As they came in, they would get bogged down with the Rhodesian forces, and on the other hand, they had the Zanla guys who were coming all the way from Chikwalakwala. And as they were trying to push through to South Africa, they would find themselves in firefights with Zanla and the Rhodesian forces. We know for a fact that when we got our independence in 1980, about 500 were returned back to Zambia. So you see, the infiltration rate into South Africa by the ANC was little bit low, and yet the infiltration rate of by the Zanla guys into Zimbabwe was high,
Hmm.
and they were coming in their thousands. I spent 2 years at the border there,
Which
trying
which which
to
border is it?
the Mozambican border,
Oh, okay.
trying to slow down the infiltration rate
Mm,
on the Rhodesian side, but we couldn't.
mm.
So yeah, their methods of operation are actually the same. Once you are labeled sellout, you have got a problem, and they didn't need evidence.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they didn't need evidence at all. So what they would do now is that the whole night, you see, um, the reason why I ended up writing this book that I am trying to write is to make Zimbabweans understand that we have to demystify this liberation struggle. And unfortunately, what they are doing is nothing new. It's just that now they are in power
Mm, mm.
and they have the state apparatus with them. You see, they would then take you and then you go and sit down. And when you sit down, they will not just put a bullet through your head. No, they will dismember you the way how 9-year-olds dismantle a live grasshopper.
Yeah, yeah.
And when that thing is happening, everybody is chanting.
Oh my God.
When they say down or pasi nemandu, like what they are still saying today, when they are saying down with somebody,
Yeah.
and you are the somebody that they are referring to, honestly, you would wish you were dead because they don't just kill you. It's easier to kill somebody using a bullet,
They
but
torture
as
you
I'm saying,
first.
they torture you first. This guy, the only kind of terrorist who made me join the Rhodesian army. He was a good fighter, but he was also somebody that really tortured people. He would take a blunt axe, go for your ankle,
Oh my
cut
God.
the ankle.
Oh my
He
God.
goes and drinks beer and revs up people, and then he comes back and and he goes for your knee. And in the meantime, you're losing blood.
Jesus.
And by the time he's done with you, he has taken off 2 or 3 parts of your body.
Who's that guy?
That guy was Kid Marong.
Oh,
His name was Kid Marong Special. And when they eventually killed him in Centenary, he's the guy that I saw of 20 to 30 people that had been tortured by him.
Jesus.
And now, me being a civilian in the Rhodesian army, out of naughtiness, really, I was the youngest in the camp,
Mm,
and there was this soldier who was like a big brother to me. So he used to go with me to a nearby pub, the Centenary Gato pub where they sold chibuku.
mm.
And when they were not allowed to go into the pub with rifles.
Yeah.
So he would say, young boy, look after my rifle. He would go in for 15 minutes, drink his chibuku, and then we go back to the camp.
Mm,
So one day I was looking at his rifle, and then out of curiosity, really, I thought, this thing looks good. And then I took it and I slung it onto my shoulder.
mm.
And when I did that, I came out of the army Land Rover,
mm,
and somebody from the farm saw me.
mm,
He looked at me and I looked at him, and I knew that I'm gone.
mm.
So word had already spread that I was now a Rhodesian soldier, but I wasn't. And I couldn't explain it to
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't explain it to anyone because here I was seen slinging, because we used to wear khaki overalls.
Mm,
Now, even the soldiers did the same too.
mm.
So word started spreading that this boy is now a Rhodesian soldier.
He's
And when
he's
I
a
saw,
sellout.
yes, I became a sellout.
Mm,
And when I looked at what this guy had done to these people, I thought I am dead.
mm.
And then I said, look, if I'm going to die in this war, I'm going to die in the battlefield using my own um, rifle. If they kill me in the battlefront, it's okay. So I
It's
made
better
an
than going through the torture.
yes.
Mm,
So I decided that I was going to join the Rhodesian army. For me, then it wasn't about politics. It was about my own
survival.
self-preservation.
Yeah.
And look, I don't regret it though, although as I said in the beginning, I nearly joined the Libre, I mean the Zanda guys, but
Yeah.
I don't regret it. The Rhodesian army they fortified me.
Yeah.
They did not give me a life, but they did not just give me a life, they saved it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, so I went there. I was a semi-literate boy, and I went through the paces. I did what I did, and funny enough, I because of my military background, I avoided politics like a plague. There was this nagging feeling with me that maybe I fought on the wrong side of history. Maybe I wasn't doing the right thing. So I decided to keep a low profile. I could have written this book a long time ago. Not that I was afraid of anyone, but I thought maybe these guys need a chance.
Mm,
I saw how they died on the battlefield.
mm.
It wasn't easy for them. And some of us who have been there thought maybe what they are doing is a rightful tax on what they did for this country. But there is a time when you have to draw a line
Yes.
and say, look, this thing has to stop. Um, and I think the reason why it has taken this long, you see, there were two kinds of people who talked more about this liberation struggle thing, which I don't think it was a liberation struggle at all. It's just that blacks, or anybody for that matter, when you want something so desperately and you are told that there is something wrong in having a white prime minister,
Yeah.
you fall for it. And our liberation struggle was a scam.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a scam because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be having our young people coming here without papers. We wouldn't be having, you see, we took land in Zimbabwe. We took the whole Zimbabwean landscape, but we still have young people coming here doing exactly what they should be doing at home. You have people coming here selling tomatoes. You don't need skills to do. Why are we not selling our own tomatoes back home? It
Yeah.
means there's something wrong with our system, something wrong with the way how.
It's actually worse than when we had a white man as a prime minister.
Yes, in all reality,
Because besides the war, when you had a white man as as a prime minister, the economy was good. People didn't need
yes,
to go into the diaspora to survive.
yes, yes. It is true. You see, to fight to fight a whole war that I witnessed, where you find these dead comrades 15, 20 per day, just for people to marry whites and stay with them in the same suburbs,
And nothing
honestly,
else.
and nothing else, just to marry whites
Yeah,
and stay with them in their suburbs. The war that I fought, that I saw with my own eyes, I had the privilege, and this is what gave me this thing to say, no, look, let me write this book. I was there.
yeah,
um, I don't want to take anything about it. I don't know the politics then, but it was a scam of a century.
yeah,
Now, for those that don't know, my book is my own story, the story that I lived in Rhodesia. You see, the Rhodesian economy, the state systems there. I have a section where I talk about the statistics. It was even better than the South African economy
yes,
by all accounts.
yeah,
And to take a country like that, there is no Pan-Africanist that I know of who is better than Julius Nyerere. He came to our country and he said, and I quote him verbatim, you guys were colonized, but look at what the colonialists have done for you.
mm,
Some of you who have been to Tanzania, you know our roads, you know our schools. And he turned to Mugabe and said, you have inherited the jewel of Africa, please don't tarnish it.
yeah,
Now, for a Pan-Africanist like Nyerere,
yeah,
to say that as he handed over or as he celebrated with us, and for us to have fallen the way we have fallen, I've seen Zimbabwe crawl to a halt.
mm,
And honestly, I'm not writing this thing out of malice or anything, but I am a Zimbabwean through and through. I cannot stand a falling or declined Zimbabwe the way it is. So I'm thinking that maybe the first step is to demystify this liberation struggle because it was being touted as that once upon a time there was a group of um, jihadist warrior kings who were sent to try and unchain blacks from the white man's depredations. But look at us now. We
mm.
were better off under Smith.
Actually, those jihadists now have changed the people,
Yes, that was, you see, they've
have
changed.
changed the people much more worse than the white man did.
Yes, yes. You see, the only problem with Smith was that, you see, he sounded racist. He was blunt. You see, there are certain things that, as a white man, maybe you shouldn't say.
Mm.
But he was saying, you give this country to these people, they will ruin it.
And they have.
And they have. And you see where our problem is. You meet young people here and you ask them, why are you here? They say, we can't stay home because Zimbabwe is under sanctions. And I said, no, you don't even understand what sanctions are. Rhodesia was sanctioned in 1965 when this guy declared UDI.
Mm.
But we survived.
Under sanctions then.
We survived under sanctions. There was no corruption. There was nothing. There was this thing that is a slogan which they used. We didn't have fuel, but there was this thing: don't drive Rhodesia dry. What happened is every motorist will be given a couple of coupons that you produce at a filling station.
That was during the Rhodesian time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you had a car, you had this
Ration for fuel.
yes.
Mm.
So there was no corruption. You'd get your coupons, go and give them at the garage. You buy your fuel, and that's it.
Mm.
In comes these guys.
The black man.
Honestly, my book states word for word what I saw and how we have come to this kind of thing. And you see, there's an English saying that says character is fate.
Yes.
You cannot change people's characters. I am what I am, and I will continue being what I am. And somehow we thought after all the atrocities that we saw, we thought somehow they would change. You see, these are the guys that when they come, for some of us who know how this war was fought, some of you guys here, you use the word comrade very loosely. Some
Mm.
of us, when we hear the word comrade, it makes you shiver down your spine.
Why?
When the comrades came to town, that was during the war.
Mm.
When the village head says the comrades are here, the whole village stops. These are the guys who would take your last goat. They would take your last hen in the name of the liberation struggle. And they would take your girl daughter to go and cook for them and do whatever they want with her.
Oh my God.
These are the comrades for us.
Jesus.
Comrade is a word that is used maybe in socialist circles to try and blare out the difference between the ruled and
Mm.
the ruler.
Mm.
It's like you see, socialism at its best is that a president will not have lunch at the state house if he doesn't know that the kid in New Kadete has eaten. That's what socialism means, and this is how people try and apply it to 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 make people understand that we are all equal.
Yeah.
So it means that if you are a president, if you are an MP, you cannot sleep in a luxurious hotel before knowing that somebody in New Kade has got accommodation.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah. That's
Um,
comradeship.
yes,
Mm.
that's comradeship. You see, the problem with I divert a little bit. The problem with socialism or the Marxist race, I mean the Marxist extreme of it, is that we as human beings are selfish. We
Mm.
look after ourselves first. It's so hard to implement.
Yeah. By
Uh,
nature, naturally, human beings are just selfish.
yes,
So
we are selfish.
how do we dispense equality?
Yes. So I hear the word and I say, yeah, maybe they are right. But for us, really, when a comrade comes to town and during this liberation thing, it meant that you had to give them um,
What
your
you
last,
had.
what you had, and including your daughter to go and cook for them. And in the meantime, these other they, they 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 had these other people that they called Mujiba. Mujiba is their collaborator within their circles who will be sniffing around, looking for sellouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no. night vigil that could be held without sellouts being killed.
Oh my
It
God.
was an anomaly.
Oh God.
So yeah, we hear the word comrade. For look at what they are doing back home, the comrades. You actually decide in your party that you want to extend your term by 2 years, and this becomes national. Um, and 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 nobody talks about it. You see, there is nothing wrong in if you think you are going, you need more time. Why don't you go back to the electorate and tell them, look, vote for me again?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
These people were fighting for the so-called democracy, but we do not have even the basic tenets of democracy in our country. Well, and then you hear some other people say maybe people should be made dictators. And you say, really, do they understand?
Yeah.
Do they understand what it means living under a dictatorship?
Yeah. Yeah.
So be very careful of what you wish for.
Yes.
Um, you hear people talk about Traore is a good dictator. My thinking is always that if you think you are doing a good thing for the people, go and submit yourself to them,
Yes.
and they will always give you a new mandate to do
Because
whatever you want
you're good to them.
because you are good. But then when when democracy becomes a nuisance, and you say I want to continue doing what I'm doing and I
And
don't
and
want
and
to
and,
just
and I'm good.
and I'm good. You see,
You know who what informs you that you are good?
I'm good. You see, and I'm good.
Let's go back to the Traore issue because I always hear people, you know, praising Traore. And I'll give you an example. I mean, during the Mugabe era, I
Yes,
had people outside Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa, people praising Mugabe. And
yes,
not Zimbabweans praising Mugabe. And right now we have people outside that's Burkina Faso, Traore, again.
yes,
People outside Burkina Faso praising Traore. I'm yet to come across a Burkina person
yes,
and to
yes,
hear what he has to say. Not
yes.
somebody who's sitting in Gaborone or in Zambia or in South
You
Africa.
see, and you see, the biggest problem is this guy is still young. You have people that are saying 70 years overstayed. This Cameroonian guy is overstayed.
Yeah, yeah,
Nangagwa is overstayed, and they are propping up this guy,
yeah,
this Burkina Faso guy. He's in his 30s, I think,
yeah.
and they want this guy to rule forever.
Mm,
It's food for thought.
yeah,
There is nobody endowed with these angelic things. There was a time when people, the only thing that Mugabe really inspired me to do was to study hard. I saw myself having the same background as him. But he was a flawed human being.
mm,
For all what you have just said, he wasn't educated.
yeah,
And you see, you should also have to thank Smith because Smith realized that he was a prisoner of conscience. And Zim Smith had a specific jail for political prisoners,
yeah.
where all these Bonkomo, Musika, and them would go there, and he would teach them his English language there. They were not they were not they were not treated as common criminals. But people who are fighting the Zimbabwean government right now, including myself, if my book comes out, I know what the kind of fate that awaits me.
Yeah.
You are thrown into a cell, and 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 you haven't done anything wrong. All you are saying is, let's talk about this thing.
Yeah.
Let's get our country
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Let's get our country back on track.
Yeah.
And you not trying to kill anybody. So you see, maybe we are diverting a bit, but what I find strange with our situation is that these people who said they were fighting for majority rule. Now, majority rule, the principle is one man, one vote. You go to and Smith's argument then, which seemed racist, was, look, you can't include these guys to go and vote because most of them don't know what they are voting for in the
Yeah.
first place.
And he
So
was right.
and he was right.
Yeah.
Honestly, you see, in my book, I'm saying if there is anything that I blame Smith, is that why couldn't he have picked a few blacks at that time, gave them a voice in the Rhodesian front,
Yes.
and
Yes.
let them talk on behalf of blacks? Because you see, when you are white and you are saying blacks are not understanding this thing, it sounds blatantly racist. But he was right. Everything that Smith said about these people was right.
Or it,
He was saying,
or at least Smith should have come into a coalition with the Nkomos and the likes.
yes,
It would
maybe
have
it
been
could have
better.
been a little bit better. If you see, in my book, I don't dwell much on Nkomo,
Mm.
because Nkomo was never given a chance.
Yes.
I don't know what Zimbabwe would have looked like under Nkomo, but I think we lost a chance, especially as the Black Shona majority.
What?
We made a catastrophic miscalculation.
By?
What we did, you see, these people, Nkomo and Mugabe, were forced by the frontline states and the international community to
Mm.
form what was called a patriotic alliance, a patriotic front.
Mm.
Now, the patriotic front, um, the two main factions were Nkomo's ZAPU, which is Zimbabwe African People's Union, and their armed wing was ZIPRA, Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army. And then you had ZANU, Zimbabwe African National Union, and its armed wing was ZANLA, Zimbabwe National Liberation Army.
Mm.
Now they formed the Patriotic Front, but Nkomo was operating from Zambia, and these other ones were operating
Mozambique.
from Mozambique. Now, if you look at the operations of ZIPRA and ZANLA, ZIPRA was more of an army than these guys. And they were more, they still had this guerrilla thing, but they resembled an army that could take over a government.
They were
So
organized.
they were organized. These ones you can see, they were some kind of a wolf pack. They were hyenas all over the show, killing whatever they could kill, and they haven't changed. So when we went for the 1980
Elections.
voting thing. People voted on tribal lines.
Yeah.
You see, the whole of Matabeleland voted for Nkomo, but they are 20% of the population.
I see.
And the 80% of the population which are Shonas voted for Mugabe. And you see where the whole plot was lost. Josiah Tongogara, who was the head of the Zanla army, died on the eve of independence
How?
when he was coming to Rudisha. Then he was involved in a car accident, allegedly, and he died. And that guy he had more power than Mugabe. And he had told Mugabe that we're going to be contesting as the Patriotic Front. We're going to have ZAPU and ZANU contesting these elections together.
Mm.
And Mugabe did not want that.
Mm.
And fortuitously, I am not too sure what happened. I wasn't there. This guy dies. And
Just,
Mugabe
just,
now
just,
comes.
just like Chris Hani.
Yes, this guy died.
Mm.
And then Mugabe comes after this guy's death, and he says, look, we will be contesting elections as ZANU. ZAPU and and ZANU is just the Liberation War friendship. He used the Shona word. Um, when I call you Sawira,
Mm.
what I'm saying is that you're just a friend. I can come and have tea at your house. You can introduce me to your to your family, friends, but we don't go deeper than that. You see, if you are my Sawira, we can do everything together.
But that's as far as it goes.
But that's as far as it goes. So he came in to to Zimbabwe, and I quote him verbatim. He says, "Look, Nkomo is just a Sawira,"
Yeah.
and then all the Shonas were ululating. You see, it also boils down to the history. You see, there's this kind of history that we were taught. That look, you see, Lopengula and the Ndebeles are the offshoot of the Zulu
Yeah.
people. So history was kind of saying, you see, Lopengula went on a rampage coming from South Africa. He took
He's
all
not a
the
Zimbabwean.
yeah, he took
So, from the Shona tribalistic perspective, is that Ndebeles are not Zimbabweans?
yes.
Uh,
They are not actually. You see, what we know is that the Ndebele, just on a lighter note, the Ndebele women are more beautiful than our Shona.
yes.
They are they are more or less like your your Botswana women here. They've got a certain body structure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And and from a Shona perspective,
Yeah.
you see, this guy came and took all the Shona women,
Who?
Lobengula.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he took all the Shona women, and this is how they procreated this, and then they left us with the kind of women that we had.
Okay, Robert, let's go for a break. I'll come back again after the
Okay, thanks.
advert. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello,
So,
Robert. Yes,
hi.
I'm still laughing. You know how some of these conflicts begin
Yes,
over small issues like women. You know.
yes. Women, they took our women and our cows. And you see, we couldn't forgive Lobengula for that.
Now, if Yes, I understand now on the woman side that the Ndebele women are more beautiful than the Shonas.
Yes.
But you are talking about the cows. Now, does it mean in Zimbabwe the Ndebeles have more cows than the Shonas?
Apparently, yes. They are more cattle breeders than us.
Oh,
Or
okay.
I don't know whether it is also the colonial thing. But look, we in our culture, there's the Shona thing.
Yeah.
We're not much into cattle breeding. What we do is that we are agriculturists.
Or you plow.
We plow.
Hmm.
And the Vedas are more meat eaters than us.
Oh, I see.
So we can survive on vegetables for a month.
Without meat.
Yeah, yeah,
Unlike the Ndebeles.
yeah. Unlike the Vedas.
Uh,
So, but then you see there was a distortion of history, and there was this kind of animosity between the Shonas and the Ndebeles.
uh,
And you see, it spilled over. And when Mugabe came and he won these elections overwhelmingly,
he buttressed it.
yeah, you see now, because he became bitter
Yes,
about what the Ndebeles had done,
I see.
and he went after them.
Now
And
the Gukurahund.
yes,
Yes.
now he went after them. Now, what a lot of Shonas and a lot of people didn't know was that it was a turf war. You see what gangsters do
Yes.
when they want to control a turf.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The Matabeleland massacres were actually a turf war, a continuation of a turf war.
Hmm.
Because if people would read my book, they would get a different history of what was happening. Zanla and Zipra never liked each other at all
Yeah. Because of the tribal issue.
because of the tribal issue.
Mhm.
I don't know when these political parties were formed. I don't know what happened because everybody started in the Zapu camp, and then the Zapu camp split.
Mm.
When it split, that's when ZANU was formed.
Hmm.
And eventually, what happened was that ZANU became predominantly Shona, and ZAPU became predominantly
Ndebele.
Ndebele.
Yeah.
And but then you had sprinklings of Ndebeles, like ZANU had a very powerful guy, Innocent Kala, as one of them, and he was Ndebele.
Uh-huh.
And in Zapu, you had Joseph Msika.
Uh-huh.
He was Shona.
Oh, I see.
But the truth is, the two camps were actually tribalistic.
Yeah.
But Nkomo was more of a nationalist
Mugabe.
than Mugabe.
Yeah.
And maybe if we had given this guy a chance,
Yeah.
Zimbabwe wouldn't have been what it is.
Yeah.
We could have followed a completely different path because Nkomo had a heart.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
was more human. To show his humanity,
Yeah.
if the Matabeleland massacres, if Mugabe was the leader of ZAPU,
Yes.
he would have continued with the Matabeleland massacres, despite the fact that Ndebeles were being massacred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nkomo showed his human side. He saw what was happening. And as a human being, he came back and said, look, be the big guy.
Yeah.
And he saved his tribe because Mugabe was going to wipe them.
Mm.
And from a military point of view, I'm a soldier in my own right.
Yeah.
Then the very dissident problem didn't deserve what it was.
What do
The
you mean?
dissident.
What do you mean dissident?
You see, there were a few guys who were there with a few guns, and they would do, shoot
Oh
people here
yes,
and there.
yes, yes.
We can't deny the fact that they were there.
Yeah, yeah. And
They
and
were
and and
there,
and, and those were not civilians because
and those.
Gukura Hundi involved civilians. So why involve
You,
the
you see,
civilians?
you
Yeah.
see, we in the Rhodesian army, if we had if we had the same mindset as Mugabe, we would have killed all black civilians because we
Yes.
knew that 85% of them supported.
The liberation
Um,
struggle.
yes,
Yes.
we. I mean,
And and, and,
if
and you had the ammunition to do that.
we had the ammunition to do that.
Yes.
If you look at a group of 10 people and you blindly close your eyes and just fire,
Mm.
and you kill 8 people, you know that you have probably killed what terrorist sympathizers.
Yes, yes.
Zapu, the Ndebeles were sympathetic to
Zapu.
Zapu, but they were not armed.
Yes. They were just sympathizers.
They were sympathizers.
Yeah.
And for you to go now, and I go a little bit deeper than what other people have been saying about the Matabeleland massacres. I actually give stories of how these things were happening. So Mugabe went after the TEF. Nkomo, being a human being as he is, he gave up.
Mm.
And then we had this Unity Accord,
Yeah.
which was done in 1987, and Mugabe became the king.
Mm.
And then you see, you guys must cherish the freedom that you have.
Yeah.
I have the way how I know you is I've been following some of your posts.
Yes.
The posts that you are posting in Zim, you would be dead by now. I can tell you.
Long dead, huh?
Dead. You'll be dead by now.
No, I was in some interviews this past Saturday, and as usual, being critical of the
Yes,
current regime, and of course, even the previous regime have been critical.
yes.
It's not like I'm starting to be critical now with the current regime.
Okay,
I've been
okay,
critical of the past regimes.
okay.
Yeah,
No,
but
that's
I did acknowledge that one of the things that maybe I should give the current regime credit for is that let alone being dead, but not even harassed. I haven't been harassed,
you see,
so
you see,
I give them credit for that, and I appreciate that.
you see.
Yeah.
You guys must appreciate this. You see, the truth of the matter is, I should be home, having written my book home, and getting people questioning me
Yes.
home.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
Yes.
And people criticizing the Smith regime. I was there. I know what I did. And I should be doing it back home. But look at me now.
Yeah.
I can't have this kind of conversation in Zimbabwe,
Yes. But you can have it in Botswana.
but I can have it in Botswana.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that when I hear people talk of dictatorship and wanting to be a dictator and praising them,
You
I
know what it means.
I ask myself, these people must be careful of what they wish for.
Mm.
You know, there are two outposts of tyranny that are left in SADC. That is Mozambique and Zimbabwe.
Yes. What about Angola?
I'm not too sure about the
Yeah.
Angolan situation, but
Okay.
maybe it's getting better. I'm not too sure, but you see, I've got some relatives in Mozambique.
Mm.
Once in a while, you visit. I'm telling you, there's no Motswana who can stay in Mozambique for a week.
Just a week.
In rural Mozambique, there is no Motswana that can stay in rural
Why?
Mozambique
Why
for a
do you
week.
say that?
You see, I know these towns. I know the provincial town of Tete and places like that. Um, you know, Tete sits on the Zambezi River.
Yeah.
It's a sprawling town that sits on the Zambezi River, but there is no water in Tete. You have to be very rich for you to get water connected to your house.
Jesus.
This is underdevelopment at its best.
My God. So
And you look at
how do the people survive there?
there is, you know, borehole water. You go and queue for borehole water and untreated, and some that are near the river and they are not afraid of crocodiles, they go and get the water from there. Honestly, I mean, as Africans, where are we going to? I hear a lot of people tell me this Pan-Africanist thing. I fail to get it.
That nonsense. I so hate that nonsense, you know.
It is nonsense. And in Mozambique, there there are no roads, and because there are no roads, they use motorcycles.
Mm. It's just passages, huh?
It's passages through the hills.
Jesus.
You know, you guys are lucky.
Yeah.
Cherish the freedom that you have and keep on holding a government to account. They get used to it.
Yes.
They get used to it and they follow the basic tenets of democracy.
Yes.
Um, you know, democracy is a nuisance, but there is no alternative. I can't think of any other alternative.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get a mandate.
Yeah.
And I cringe to the bone when I hear people talk of we saved you,
Yeah.
because in it comes entitlement.
Mm.
You see, one of the best things that can happen to you is staying in a foreign country, because no matter how I like BCP or UDC, I can't vote. You see, so
Yeah.
I look at it detached.
Yes.
There was a time when the people who were um, whom I'm close to, they were saying, you know, UDC and this other party, PCP, must form a coalition government. And I was saying, no, you know what? You need some kind of opposition. If anything, just for the sake of having somebody saying different things.
Mm. Mm.
It might not be palatable, but I mean, you guys are asking for a monolithic government
Yeah.
where there are no voices. And this is what happened in 1987.
Yeah.
The voices of reason that were coming from Komo's party, ZAPU, were
Mm.
lost.
Because
They were lost. and there was no opposition.
Mm.
And Mugabe now became averse to opposition.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Everybody now started singing praises for him, no matter what he was doing, no matter how wrong it was.
Even when he was doing nonsense or talking nonsense, people were clapping hands.
Yes, because there was no opposition now.
Yeah.
So, in a way, you guys must count yourselves lucky
Yeah.
and keep this kind of um, democratic flaming up. You need it.
Yes. Yes.
You need it. You need people like you talking about what is going wrong. But as you are saying, you also appreciate the fact that nobody is harassing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
But in Zimbabwe, I can actually tell you, you would be dead. And they come for you at the heat of the night.
Mm.
And it's only your wife and kids who knows where you have gone to.
Well, who will see that I was taken, but where I'm going to, they don't know.
Yes.
Mm.
You said you are in the Mkoditsane area. She would go to the Mkoditsane police station and they would say, no, we have got no record. Then go to the next police station next door. They say they don't have record. And then your wife will say, but somebody came to take him
Mm.
and you won't be found. By the time you are found, you are dead, thrown in a river somewhere, and that's it.
And there's no recourse.
And there is no recourse. Nobody is accountable. So you see, some of us, the book that I've written, my own story, I'm saying maybe I don't know how diplomacy works. I've never been a diplomat. They should try and nudge the Zimbabwean government at a certain level. Say, no, look, you can't be doing things that you are doing because eventually you will destabilize the whole region.
Yeah.
You see, you can't choose your neighbors, but at least if you have got a neighbor who is in the habit of throwing rubbish in the street, eventually you will catch the stench.
Mm.
So if you don't tell them, look, let's try and have a rubbish pit here, so that we can put the rubbish inside. You're
Yeah.
also saving yourself from the stench. And
Yes.
maybe at a certain level, it needs to be said by these guys. But look, this, I had this guy, the vice president Ndaba, clips from his parliament thing. You are saying the Zimbabwe government had manufacturing, and the statistics were up. And I'm like, really, this guy? The last manufacturing statistic that happened in Zim was in 1981. And from there, it was going down.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And all companies went down
Yeah.
simply because you see, you cannot have a frightened population who have got nothing to eat going into manufacturing and thinking of what to do. In Zimbabwe, you wake up in the morning and you think of how not to get nabbed by the police and where do you get your next meal from. You've got no time to conceptualize or think of what to do in business.
Oh, doing business.
You're thinking, yeah, how do I keep how do I keep a safe distance from the CIOs?
So
You,
basically, it's two things. how do I keep a safe distance from the intelligence guys, huh?
Yes.
And where is my next meal coming from?
Those two things.
Just two.
Yes.
You've got no room to think about the third one, which could be
No.
conceptualizing a business idea. You've got
Yes.
no time for that.
Yes.
That's
You see,
that's what a Zimbabwean does when he or she wakes up every day.
every day. You see, I've got an MBA. There's a thing that they you see they say a company takes the character of the people at the top.
Yes.
Invariably, if you're going to be forming a radio station, it will take the character of the person who is running it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the same goes for a country.
Mm,
This thing about mission statements, they are there even in a country.
mm,
Our country has taken the character of the people who are leading us.
yeah.
If you see, as a Zimbabwean is always nervous about where to get the next meal, how to when they want to go back home, how to cross the border without papers. You know,
To go back home.
right now it's going to be December, and they are scheming. How do we? Now it's raining. How do we?
How do, how do
How
we
do we
how do we
pass
cross
DBT?
those rivers?
Yes. How do we pass DBT? They will tell you, and DBT is terrible. The police there are horrible. But we just want to go back home. How do we circumvent that? And this is the life back home.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
You see, we might laugh about it. We joking about it. But look, um, you see, Zimbabwe is a classic case of how not to run a country. You guys have got nothing to learn from us. But the one thing that you should learn from Zimbabwe is how not to run a country
Or how to destroy a country.
and how to destroy a country.
Yeah.
If there is a lesson that has to be learned, it is that singular lesson.
Yeah.
And when that happens, there's going to be a problem. And I'm sorry for you. You guys have got some kind of lead lights, like yourselves. I really admire what you are doing.
Mm,
Um, and the last clip that I saw, you were saying you're not going to be running for office, but you're just there to make people aware of
yeah.
what is happening in the country.
Yes.
And the people in this country must actually be thanking you for that. It's very easy to slide into a dictatorship,
Yeah.
very easy. But getting out of it is a problem.
Almost impossible.
It's impossible because there is a dictator's playbook. Because you cannot become a dictator without destroying institutions.
Mm, mm, mm.
And they systematically destroy institutions brick by brick.
Yeah.
And when that happens, this is what I was saying, that your wife will go to Mkoditsane and they will tell her that, look, we don't know where you went to.
Yeah.
To the next police station, they will tell you exactly the same story. Now, that is the destruction of institutions.
Yes. Yes.
And this is what they do.
Yeah.
So my advice to Botswana is, don't aspire to a dictatorial state.
Yes.
Never. No matter how good a guy is, he should submit himself to the electorate and you make a decision.
Yes.
You see, Malawians learned the hard way. But then you see, Malawi is in a different category from Zimbabwe, because in Malawi, they never fought
Yeah.
for the liberation struggle.
Yeah.
But Malawians learned a lesson from Kamuzubanda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's one of the countries now that can chop and change governments.
They never forgot.
Let it be like that.
They never forgot that lesson from Kamuzubanda.
They never. You see, I don't know how I can tell people. If I had a platform, if I don't know how I can tell people that, look, you need a representative government.
Yeah.
And every step of the way, they should be checked.
Yeah.
There was a time when Zimbabweans were literally would literally tie Mugabe's shoes.
Mm.
They thought he was God's gift to Zimbabwe,
Mm.
but he wasn't.
Mm.
He wasn't at all.
Yeah.
And they made a more difficult decision in 2017 when they replaced him with Mnangagwa. Look at it now.
Yeah.
What Zimbabweans should have done in 2017 is saying no, we don't accept this military coup. We want to go to the elections.
Mm. Mm.
But then he promised. He was saying he's a constitutionalist, and now he has changed the whole thing.
Mm. Mm.
I don't know, but I'm hoping that with this kind of discourse that I'm having with you, with the book that I've written, if I garner enough support, because Zimbabwe needs to be saved.
Yes.
I don't know whether we are going to be able to leave anything for our kids. I
Mm.
doubt.
Mm.
You see, very small things like basic decency. I have clips of what is happening in Zim.
Mm.
You have a president's son um, closing off a street. The streets that Smith built for us, he comes in, builds something in the middle of nowhere, and closes a street, which means the people that are on the other side of the street and are on the other side of the street no longer have a street. It has
Yeah.
been closed off contrary to city bylaws,
Yeah.
and you can't do anything about it. I
Jesus.
don't know.
Yeah.
It is sad.
Yeah.
As I said, you see, when you talk about your country, you become emotional.
Yes. Yes.
I can't help being emotional because I know what we used to be,
Yeah.
and I know what we are now. We
Yeah.
are now the laughing stock.
Mm.
All this thing about Zimbabweans being educated, Zimbabweans doing this and that, it was the product of Smith.
Yeah.
These guys did nothing. We don't have an educational system to talk of now.
Mm.
Talk to any Zimbabwean born after 1980. They can hardly string a sentence or know anything about what is happening. This is what we have become.
Mm.
And I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know.
But tell me, Robert,
Yes,
the black Zimbabweans stood up and fought the whites.
yes.
What's so difficult to deal with ZANU-PF?
A good.
Can you take a break? We'll respond to
Okay.
that on the other side.
All right.
All right. Yes, Robert, we were at the point where I was asking you if black Zimbabweans could fight a white regime with so much power, with the army, with the police, and every security you could talk of, and they managed to fight that white dominance. What is so difficult in them fighting ZANU-PF?
You see, Can I? It's a very interesting question, and this is what a lot of people have been asking. Or why? What is happening in Zim? But then I will try and answer it in two kind of segments. Firstly, you see, Mugabe in 1980, Mugabe went to the United States. In an interview with the New York Times, he said, and I quote him verbatim,
Mm.
we did not win a military victory. What we got was a political settlement. Now, that says all about the Zimbabwean situation. These guys did not win, did not get a military victory. Now, can I call you by your first name,
Yes, yes, yes,
Sidirwa?
yes.
Now, let's suppose you and me are karatekas. We
Yeah.
are fighting. You do karate, I do karate, and we are fighting.
Mm.
And I breach the rules of the karate game,
Yeah.
and then you declared a winner by my disqualification.
Mm.
And then what happens now is that you go about telling people you have got the belt hanging on your shoulder,
Mm.
and you go about telling people that look,
I'm the champion.
Robert is I'm the champion. Robert is not a very good fighter. Look at him. I am the champion. You have the belt.
Yeah.
Now, what I will need to do is maybe to confront you again and say, you know what? I know you've got the belt, but don't go about telling people that you actually beat me because it was a technical knockout on my part. I know I breached the rules.
Mm.
But then if you want us to do it again, we can do it.
Mm.
But then now this becomes a brawl.
Mm.
What these guys did was that they went in with this liberation war hubris. But and the truth is they did not win the war. What
Okay.
actually happened is that there was a ceasefire and Smith was on the wrong side of history
Mm.
because he was fighting blacks.
Mm. Mm.
If this war had been allowed to go the way it was going, they were not going to win it. And I know it because I was in it.
Mm. Mm.
That is the truth. But anyone now who tries to tell the current regime that, look, if you want us to go back and fight, we'll be labeled a terrorist.
Yeah.
But then what they did is that they went in, they dismantled institutions. The institutions were there. They put their own people in the institutions. And right now, from the ZEC, Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, whatever you see, judges, although they are supposed to be impartial, but they are a product of a system that produces them.
Mm. Mm.
They are not appointed in a vacuum. There is somebody who sees something that he wants in them, and that is the present regime. You see,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, much as it is said that they are appointed on merit on papers, but if you are a BDP government and you see that this judge is kind of wrong, you don't appoint them. So Zimbabweans are tired.
So there is no justice in Zimbabwe.
There is no justice.
Mm.
And Zimbabweans are tired. You see, there comes a time when a nation has done so much. The only person who has been able to, or who was able to galvanize the opposition was Tsvangirai.
Yeah.
And um, maybe a leader like that one will finally emerge. But what is actually needed in Zimbabwe right now is somebody who can go toe to toe with them.
Isn't Chamisa that?
Chamisa can't do it.
Mm.
He can't. Unfortunately, he can't. He can't.
Mm.
He is too young. He doesn't understand how this war was fought. You
Mm.
see, somebody who understands how this war was fought, how it actually happened, and how it ended, if he has the guts to stand up and say, okay, uh, let's talk about this thing, then they will start understanding. Chamisa was riding on the popularity of Tsvangirai, but he is not a Tsvangirai,
Yeah.
and now he has also lost steam. He has.
Mm, mm.
I don't see anything coming out of him.
So
So
as things stand, really, you don't have a strong opposition leader
no,
in
no,
Zimbabwe.
there is none.
Mm,
Everybody who was there has been captured or assimilated.
mm,
And some of them, as I said, if you and me are involved in this kind of tournament, it's only me who can stand up and tell you that, look, you have the belt, but you see, it was a technicality.
mm, mm,
So you need somebody who can. Now, unfortunately, the books that have been written about Zimbabwe by whites, they were telling people about how many terrorists they killed, and they were talking from a position of wanting to keep the privilege,
mm, mm,
and so it was dismissed.
mm,
So the difficulty that we are having is somebody who can really stand up and challenge them and tell them that, look, let's put this war thing aside because we were there.
mm,
You know that you were not that good. Had it not been for the international community and the British that later stabbed Smith in the back,
yeah.
they wouldn't have done what they did.
Yeah.
As I'm saying poignantly, and Mugabe said this.
Mm,
And those days, those were the days that he was still looking behind his shoulders. He said it. We did not win a military thing. But then when they came, they were now behaving as if they marched to Salisbury. And
mm,
those that
mm,
didn't, you see, the biggest problem that came out of this whole fiasco was that we were in the Rhodesian army. Most of us were semi-literate soldiers. We when I joined the army, I was grade 7,
mm,
and we had the literacy to read and write, but not to be as coherent as people like Mugabe and them. So most of them, although they know exactly how things went about, but they don't know how, and we have just withered away. So now with the liberation war still shrouded in mystery, with the institutions, um, you know, there are no institutions in Zim. If you try and challenge them and you go to court, you probably lose.
mm,
With a constitution which is pliable, which they can change willy-nilly, which entrenches the liberation war history, flawed as it is,
mm, mm,
and with no galvanizing leader who can really challenge. We have tended to become a bit uh, selfish, so to say.
mm.
Those that can, if they get a chance to go into the diaspora, they go into the diaspora. They remit money home. They build a fancy house. They come with their cars and then go back. And so in Zimbabwe now, if you talk about politics, when forget about this thing.
But
And yet,
don't you think a revolution, a youth revolution, maybe?
you see, yeah, it could be, but you see, again, is the biggest problem, as I'm saying, is that a country takes the character of the people at the top. The Zimbabwean youth, until such time, because they need something galvanizing.
Mm, mm.
They need something that they can follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have they can be game changers, but they need somebody they can follow, somebody they can say, look, this guy here seems to have our interests at heart,
Mm,
and then you can help them to follow you. Look at what happened in Madagascar. There was a galvanizing force, a magnet behind it
mm.
that pushed the youth.
Yeah.
The reason why the youth are trying their bit in Kenya against Ruto is that there is no galvanizing force again.
Mm,
They
mm,
are trying their bit, but they need a bit of direction.
mm,
So
mm.
until such time as such thing happens, the youth in Zimbabwe, as soon as you fail these O levels, you try and find out, well, how can I get to Botswana and go and do work there and see what to do? How can I cross Limpopo? Those that are very lucky uh, can get invited to places like the UK, but it's now becoming difficult.
Mm, mm, mm.
So maybe with these countries tightening their borders and stuff like that, but still you need a galvanizing force.
It's machinini kind of.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
see. So I don't know. Well, I'm trying my bit to. I've written this book as a last resort. I'm trying to see if people can read it and make sense of it. If they do, then maybe start from, because it's not an easy task.
Mm, mm.
No, it's not
And it takes a
easy.
lot of sacrifice. Huh?
It takes a lot of sacrifice. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
And most of our youth are now into these things. As I'm saying, our biggest problem is that it's now self-preservation.
Yeah.
And when you want to talk about politics, the basic understanding that I have of politics is that it was labeled as the art of the possible,
Yeah.
trying to make a possibility out of impossible situations.
Mm.
And then it means people sitting around and trying to see how they can resolve problems. I will not forgive Harold Wilson for what he did to Rhodesia.
Yeah.
But now we are dead. We are hoping for some.
What did Harold Wilson do?
You see, Harold Wilson, when he did this winds of change thing,
Mm.
when he was giving these things to these countries, most, I mean, Zambia, Malawi, which was Northern Rhodesia, and Nyasaland, he excluded Rhodesia. And he said, Rhodesia, we cannot give you independence before before you give us a roadmap towards black majority rule.
Mm.
And Smith said, we want time
Mm.
to get this thing sinking. And
Yeah.
Harold Wilson was pussyfooting. And when he was doing the pussyfooting, that's when this guy declared UDI, which was vilified across the board.
Yeah.
But again, you see, the British knew that Rhodesia was the most prosperous colony in Africa.
Yeah.
And the people who had made it like that were the whites. And obviously, I mean, without doubt, they were doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
But when they were doing it for themselves, they were also doing it for the blacks.
Yeah.
At least we had a few crumbs. So Smith said, look, why don't we talk about this independence thing? And then Mugabe now, you see, the reason why ZAPU, people moved from ZAPU to ZANU
Mm.
is that Nkomo was labeled a briefcase politician, which means he wanted negotiations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ZANU wanted the war thing.
Mm. Mm.
So and the conditions in Zimbabwe where blacks were radicalized. They didn't see anything good that Smith was doing through radicalization. And Wilson continued the pussyfooting until Thatcher came in. And I know that if this thing had happened when Thatcher was still there, or when Thatcher was in power, she could have found a way of trying to resolve the rhodesian issue.
Mm.
So here we are.
Yeah.
To start, I don't want to lie to you. My brothers Zimbabweans are tired.
Yeah.
But for how long it can carry on, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
But my only hope, I will be guided by the reception that my book gives.
Yeah.
This is hoping that a lot of Zimbabweans can now read, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we
And
can.
I don't know the culture in Zimbabwe, but I know in Botswana there's no reading culture, so you
Yeah,
can't
there's
get
no
to the
reading.
people through a book.
Yeah, you
So
can.
what's the culture like in Zimbabwe?
As I'm saying, you can. People are now into this thing, the Facebook thing and stuff
Facebook,
like that.
TikTok, Instagram.
Yes.
Mm.
So I don't know, but we hoping that maybe with this kind of platform that you have given me, with people listening, maybe a few people might be interested, and then the word spreads.
Yeah, more especially because this episode is going to go on to YouTube.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So
with YouTube, probably it would be able to reach as
yes.
many Zimbabweans as possible because
Yes.
YouTube is universal.
Yes.
Yeah,
We hoping that,
yeah,
and because we are in a mess.
yeah, yeah,
We are in a mess. We are swimming into a cesspool of rot, and we don't know how to get out. But as I'm saying, maybe with this kind of exposure, and I'm very grateful for the time that you have given me,
yeah,
maybe we will get somewhere. What I'm hoping to do is maybe plant a tree, because as I'm saying, I'm now in my 60s. I don't know for how long I will live,
yeah,
but I'm passionate about my country. Things can be changed. There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of things that haven't been said about this liberation thing. That when people begin to know, now they will understand why we are where we are.
yeah.
So yeah.
So do you see any prospect of resuscitating Zimbabwe?
Yes, with the right leadership, it can be resuscitated.
Mm,
You see, what I'm saying is, when we try to go back to do politics in Zimbabwe,
mm,
we should kind of use Rhodesia as a benchmark.
yeah,
Less the racism, of course. I'm black and I cannot um, I cannot discriminate against myself. But the principles upon which Rhodesia was conducting business,
mm,
the basic principles that you run a country like you're running a business, and you take care of everything that comes in and that goes out.
mm,
Those are the principles that are lacking.
yeah,
So if I do get a chance and make a decision, I will tell it to Zimbabweans that if we are going to go into politics and resuscitate this thing, much as you have been told a lot of bad things about Smith, and there are a lot of bad things that he did,
mm.
but on the economy and knowing how to run a country for the
On the economy and governance.
and the economy and governance.
Mm,
He was the best.
Yeah.
And if we have a black man who can do that, then we can resuscitate it. And this is what gives me hope. It really gives me hope.
But but
Uh,
but Robert, look here. You're talking about Smith having, yes, the racist part was bad, but in terms of governance and the economy, we can compare him to the National Party in South Africa. I mean, when the ANC inherited South Africa or governance 30 years ago,
yes,
the development, the infrastructure, the
yes,
institutions, the hospitals, the
yes,
education
yes,
system,
yes,
everything has crumbled over 30 years.
yes, yes.
What is the problem with the black man?
You see, you see, again, I think you and me have got the same platform. This Pan-Africanist thing
Yeah,
um, has really eaten into Africans. You see, we had a case study about ESCOM when I was doing my MBA here in Botswana when I still ran my business here.
mm,
It was in economics. I didn't really relate to it, but they were saying at one stage ESCOM, which was an apartheid run thing,
yeah,
because they wanted to be self-sufficient in electricity. They were under sanctions and stuff like that.
yeah,
There was a time when at ESCOM there was a guy who was appointed by the other faction of the ANC as a board member,
mm,
and then somebody comes in, another faction of the ANC puts somebody as CEO. I can't remember the case study correctly. And then the board member, the chairman of the board, tried to fire the CEO for incompetence.
mm,
And this guy, the CEO, had the backing of the other faction and he refused. You see,
yeah,
and that paralyzed ESCOM
yeah,
gradually.
yeah,
And this thing of conspicuous consumption, where you just walk in and you start building jigsaw houses
mm,
from nowhere.
mm,
You have got a house that has got 100 rooms.
yeah,
Now that's the problem with the African.
yeah,
We don't do things. We don't want to leave something behind, a legacy that can be followed,
mm,
and we overstay in power. If
yeah,
there is anything that Mandela did, was to leave before he was discredited.
yeah.
So let's look at what is happening in South Africa. Much as we would like to talk about the apartheid thing, but they left an economy intact,
Yes.
an
And but
economy.
but but what is said about South Africa and Zimbabwe? Because I would talk about Botswana, but Botswana has changed regime at least at long last. But
Yes,
so let's talk
yes,
about South Africa and Zimbabwe. Is
yes,
that
yes,
the people, the voters, keep on brainwashed into this thing of, the imperialists, the whites,
yes,
the racist, and our people remain gullible
yes,
to this kind of
yes,
manipulation.
yes, yes. It's so much ingrained in us that
Mm,
we can't see the good that these guys did, and we become oblivious to the bad that these guys are doing.
Yeah, we get blindfolded because they tell us about the bad that the white man was doing, but
Aha.
we are there, blacks who know the good that the white man did, and we are not
Yes.
saying it out. That is the
We
problem.
you see, that is where the problem is.
Yeah,
That is where the problem is. We are not saying the good that the whites did. and then those that come after us think that whites were all horrible. But
And
no, look,
it's actually a propaganda machine to use the whites and the
yes,
racism.
yes,
And as blacks who knew or who know that there
yes,
was something good that the whites were doing,
yes,
we
yes.
don't speak about it.
We don't speak
When when
about
when 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 you speak about it, you are labeled as a
it.
colonially
Yes.
brainwashed. You are said to be brainwashed by the colonialists.
Yes, you see, and what you are basically saying is, that we should try and benchmark and learn from them.
Actually,
But
actually, there's a statement that Oliver Tambo made at some ANC Congress in Angola in 1978,
yes,
where he said, "Comrades, when we take power, it is not everything that the white man is doing that is bad. We must
yes,
be able to select that which is good and
yes,
continue with that which is good. But
yes.
when blacks take over power, they want to eliminate everything that the white man was doing, even the good things that the white man was doing. I mean,
That's
we
where the
we
problem
we,
is.
we start on focusing on street names. I mean,
Yes,
what bread and
yes,
butter issue does a street name
yes,
bring?
yes, yes, yes. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. We had ill grey building, we had these kinds of buildings, all colonial names. And these guys come in, they don't build anything, they rechange those things.
and
They now
claim
call,
and claim them
and
now.
you see, it's now Mashonganyika building, it's now Mbuya Nehanda this,
Yeah,
and they don't build anything.
yeah.
You guys, you should be eternally grateful to whoever started this thing. I've always joked with Batswana. You know what? You were lucky. The guy who started this thing, who Seretsekama,
Mm.
he had a white woman. And I suppose this is the woman who was knocking a bit of sense in him. That you know what, we can't take the whole of Serowe. Let's leave it
Oh,
for
oh,
for
oh, 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 we can't be racist against the colonialists or the
you
white the
see
white man. Oh.
you see. Let's
Because
coexist.
that racism is the one that's used to brainwash people to thinking that the
Yes,
ANC or ZANU PF
yes,
are doing something which is good, and
yes.
which is a lie.
Which is a lie,
Yeah,
and it is a lie, and it has to be called out.
yeah.
It is a lie.
Now,
We
shouldn't me and you, Robert, and others who believe there were good things that the white men were doing, maybe if we start voicing out more
Yes,
and building a revolution on the
yes,
falsehoods about what the white men did,
yes,
maybe then we could
yes.
slowly turn around the mindset of our people.
Please help me do that.
I'll try my best.
Please help me do that. I will be eternally grateful.
Yes.
See, I've actually made up my mind that well, some of these things we can talk about them off radio. I'm tired. I don't know how I met you, and I'm so thankful for you being so receptive.
No,
If I
I
if I,
know how you met me. You met me because I speak out. And that's how you got
yes,
to know me. And that is
yes,
the biggest problem, that we don't speak out. So
we
we don't know Robert is that side. We share the same sentiments. John is that side.
yes,
Patricia is that
yes,
side. We share,
yes,
and so speaking out is what will bring us together.
yes.
Yeah,
Please let's talk about this thing and bring a bit of sanity in our countries.
yes.
And one thing that I really pray for, I'm not a very prayerful person, but I pray that you guys' country does not go the route that we did.
That's our prayer too.
Because honestly, it will be, I don't know what I would call it. You see, the last time I came here,
It
not,
it it
not,
it will be Armageddon.
yes.
Mm.
So please, let's try and do this thing. Try and conscientize people
Mm,
about the good things that white people did for our countries,
yeah,
and try and benchmark whatever we do against what these guys were doing. South Africa was under apartheid. I mean, under sanctions internationally. Zimbabwe was Rhodesia was under sanctions internationally,
and they still
and
survive very well.
they survived.
Yeah.
And you see, there's a little research that I did when I was there was this Becky younger brother who said, "Look, de Klerk actually said, you know, we could have continued with apartheid for another 15 years, and you people would not have done anything about it. But we decided, look, we can't continue like this."
Mm,
Now, there isn't that kind of thinking in the South African situation, in the Zimbabwean situation, that we cannot continue living like this. And
yeah.
you have a leader in Zimbabwe who wants to extend his term, not because he's doing well, but he wants to
To to
continue wrecking
yeah
the country.
to continue grabbing.
I mean, honestly, and everybody is quiet about it.
Yeah, even our leaders, South Africa is quiet, Namibia is quiet, Botswana is quiet,
You see,
Malawi is quiet. Everybody is quiet.
everybody is quiet. This is what I'm saying. Why not try and nudge these guys that look, you becoming a problem. You are our neighbor. You are becoming a problem. How do we deal with this thing?
And your problems are overflowing, becoming
Oh,
our problem.
yes. You see, the only guy, I don't know how Batswana taking, but the only guy who stormed out of a meeting in Harare is your karma here.
Mm.
He looked at Mugabe squarely in the face and said, "You are destroying your country," and he moved out. And you know, I was there then, and they said, "Yeah, you see, this guy is different," and they were saying, "Kimanawaha made them. They don't play." He's the only guy.
Mm.
I still remember he was putting on a white thing, a white shirt, and it was rolled, and he stormed out.
Yeah, so though I don't like the guy for, you are talking of how Mugabe started destroying institutions. Our institutions, for them to start falling apart in this country is because of
Yes.
the same guy. But that was a
Okay.
good gesture too. I can't take that away from him. But it's unfortunate
Yes.
that as much as he was doing that, but he was also destroying our
You
country
you
also.
you see. So for us who are not, privy to what is happening in your country, we thought, hey, at least there's somebody who can stand up for us, because these other guys, it's him and Manawasa,
Yeah, yeah.
the late
One of
Manawasa,
us,
the
yeah.
only people who stood up to Mugabe and said, look, the Titanic up north is sinking, and we are getting the stench. He said that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Maybe if you could afford another, but maybe we could meet sometime when I'm in Gaborone, and we need to talk about it.
Robert,
Our
I think,
countries are
yes, we've run out of time, but thank you for the
okay.
interview, and
Okay.
we'll have another one in due course, and many
Thank
others, Zimbabweans
thank
also,
thank you so much.
who are right-minded, because I wouldn't
Yes.
want to have an interview with idiots.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.